Hello students. So we have completed chapter 1, and in chapter 1 you have come across the fact that psychology is the study of experiences, behaviors and mental processes, right? Now you may be curious to know how psychologists study this phenomena, like what methods are used to study behavior and mental processes. Unlike all other scientists, psychologists seek to describe, predict, explain and control what they study. Now these things we will discuss in this chapter, which I will start today, that is chapter 2, and the name of the chapter is Methods of Enquiry in Psychology. So through this chapter, I will let you know about the goals of psychological inquiry, the nature of information or data that we collect in psychological studies, the diverse range of methodological devices available for the study of psychology, and some important issues related to psychological studies. So in today's presentation, I will cover the goals of psychological inquiry, under which there is description, prediction, explanation, control, and application. Since you all know now that psychology, it is also a discipline of science, so like other scientific research, psychological inquiry too has certain goals. So psychological research is conducted for the purpose of description, prediction, explanation, control of behavior, and application of knowledge generated in an objective manner. Okay, now let us try to understand the meaning of these terms one by one in detail. Goals of psychological inquiry. So psychological inquiry has 5 goals. Okay, so number 1 is description. The first goal. So in a psychological study, we attempt to describe a behavior as accurately as possible, which helps in distinguishing a particular behavior from other behaviors. For example, a researcher may be interested in observing study habits among students. Now, study habits may consist of diverse range of behaviors, such as attending all classes regularly, submitting assignments on time, planning study schedule, studying according to the set schedule, revising work on daily basis, etc. So here the researcher needs to describe her or his meaning of study habits. The description as such requires recording of a particular behavior which helps in its proper understanding. Description is necessary. Why? Because any event or behavior may have many aspects. Here in the example, it has been saying about study habits. Now, my meaning of study habits might not be same to that of another researcher. That is why it is my duty to describe what I mean by study habits according to myself. Okay, that is why the first goal of description, it is very important. The second goal of scientific inquiry is prediction of behavior. So if you are able to understand and describe the behavior accurately, you come to know the relationship of a particular behavior with other types of behaviors, events or phenomena. So you can then forecast that under certain conditions, this particular behavior may occur within a certain margin of error. And of course, I hope you all know what is forecasting and what is prediction. Yes, that means something which you know that it will happen or it can occur in future. Okay, so here example has been given for you all to understand better. So on the basis of a study, a researcher is able to establish a positive relationship between the amount of study time and achievement in different subjects. So with this, later on, if you come to know that a particular child devotes more time for study, you can predict that since the child has devoted more time for study, the child is likely to get good marks in the examination, isn't it? So, prediction or forecasting becomes more accurate with the increase in the number of persons observed. The third goal of psychological inquiry is to know the causal factors or determinants of behavior, that is, explanation. Once you have described, predicted, it is important that you also explain the behavior. What is the cause behind the behavior? So, psychologists are primarily interested in knowing the factors that make behavior occur, and also what are the conditions under which a particular behavior does not occur. For example, what makes some children more attentive in the class? Likewise, why some children devote less time for study as compared to others? So, this goal is concerned with identifying the determinants or antecedent conditions. So, when we say antecedent conditions, that means the conditions that led to the particular behavior of the behavior being studied, so that cause effect relationship between two variables or objects or events could be established. Okay, so basically, under explanation, the psychologists try to explain that why certain behaviors occur and why others do not occur. Number four, it is control. So the fourth goal, as it is control, if the researcher is able to explain why a particular behavior occurs, she or he can control the behavior by making changes in its antecedent conditions. Already I told you what is antecedent conditions. That is the condition which led to the particular behavior. So control refers three things importantly. That is making a particular behavior happen, reducing it or enhancing it. These are the three things which is meant by control. Okay? So for example, one can allow the number of hours devoted to study to be the same, or can reduce them, or there may be an increase in the study hours. Understanding the point. Now here if I want to see that how you all study, and I invite you all in a laboratory setup. In that laboratory setup, maybe I will allow the number of hours to be same. That means as usual the time you all devote, or I can increase the time or I can reduce that time. That is control. That control is under me. Okay? And a very good example of control is the change brought about in the behavior in persons by psychological treatment in terms of therapy. Now, you all know there are many patients who go for counseling and also they seek some professional help, and at times they need psychological treatment in terms of therapy. So in that therapy, the control plays an important role which can be seen in the behavior of the person or the patient. Okay? Last goal or the final goal of the scientific inquiry is application. That means to bring out positive changes in the lives of people. So psychological research is conducted to solve various problems faced by the society. And psychology helps in solving problems at individual, organizational, or community level. So, for example, the therapies which are provided to individuals and counseling, these all are there to help them. At the organizational level, various psychological concepts like work motivation are used to enhance performance. At a community level, counseling is provided to help people engage in various helpful and eco-friendly behaviors. So with this, we come across the goals of psychological inquiry, where description is the first goal, which is very important. Of course, all the steps are important, all the goals are important. So, if you can describe it, of course, it helps you in prediction. And once you have described and predicted, the next point is explanation. With explanation that why certain behaviors occur, you go across controlling that behavior. Okay, and with that, the final goal is the application. Okay,